Problem number 4 is what we call a work problem. You have two people that can do a particular job, but they do it at different rates. Okay? Ruth can paint a room in 2 hours, and her sister Esther can paint the same room in 4 hours. But if they work together, how long should it take? Do you have any ideas about how long it should take them if they work together? 3 hours, right? Now let's think about this.
It should be like 1.5.
If Ruth can paint the room in 2 hours and she's going to get help, why is it going to take her 3 hours now?
Like
See, if you're getting help, it should be a little bit less than that, right? So 1.5 sounds a little bit more appropriate, right?
she's slow, but she'll help a little bit.
Yeah, Esther's slow, but at least she's doing something, right? It's like me doing. It's like.
At least she's painting one wall.
Yeah, it's like my wife and I doing laundry. I don't know how she does it, but she's like twice as fast as me. I don't
You
know.
put on the same number, you put on the same load and everything?
No, I mean in terms of folding laundry.
Oh, of course.
No, if it's a machine doing it, the machine doesn't. No, it shouldn't be. It just. I don't know.
Women just fold 30 minutes.
What?
Women just fold 30 minutes.
Since this is being recorded, I should probably go ahead and go on. Now let's think about this. We're going to make a little chart here to describe what goes on between Ruth and Esther. Okay? And then at the very bottom, for every work problem that you do, there's going to be a together part that you're trying to figure out. Okay? So let's fill this in. What's the time it takes for Ruth to do the job? And for Esther?
4.
And together? Really? It's going to take them 6 hours to paint the whole... LOL. Do you know how long it takes them when they work together? So what should we write here? X. The key part in the setup is the right column. This right side column gives you your equation. And what we have here is the portion that's being done per hour. Ruth takes 2 hours to paint the whole room. What portion does she do per hour?
Apparently she does one wall.
Does one wall.
No.
What'd you say?
She does half the room.
She does half the room in an hour. Let's write this out so that you can see this. If it takes you 2 hours to paint one room, that's what it says for her, right? I can flip this around because this is a ratio. Actually, it's a rate. This is hours to room. But what if I flip it around and I say that she can paint one room every 2 hours? Isn't that right? But what that really means is that she paints half of a room per hour, right? See, we're so used to seeing things written a certain way. I remember one time I was in HEB and I saw that, I guess it doesn't really make sense to what I was talking about, so forget that story. But sometimes you see things that are the unit price, like bananas, 44 cents per pound. You might run into a crazy store that's like, all right, well, it's going to be, 2 pounds per dollar. So it throws things off a little bit when they change up how we're used to seeing the ratio, how we're used to seeing the rates. So Ruth can paint half of the room in an hour. What about Esther? What do you think?
1/4 of the room.
It's going to be 1/4. Now, how'd you get 1/4?
Because one room takes 4 hours.
Right, you're doing the reciprocal. See? What's the reciprocal of 2? 1.5. What's the reciprocal of 4? 1/4. That gives you the portion per hour. So what would you write for their together portion per hour?
Divide or something.
1/2 times 1/4.
No. How did I get the 1/2?
Plus 1/4.
How did I get the 1/2?
Oh, it's
I did the
proportion.
reciprocal. How did I get 1/4? I did the reciprocal. So what do you think I should put here? How about the reciprocal of the together time? So 1 over x. All of this stuff here is the reciprocal of the time it takes for the individual piece. But here's what we know. Do y'all agree that Ruth paints half of the room in an hour? and that Esther paints a quarter of the room in an hour. Together, we don't know, do we? So here's what we're going to say. This is what we're going to write. In 1 hour, what happens? Well, in 1 hour, Ruth has painted half of the room. Her sister has painted a fourth of the room. And together, that's going to equal that together portion per hour, right? So what this does for us is that it creates a nice equation that even though it has rational expressions, it's still pretty easy to work through. Okay? So how would you solve this guy? How would you clear this equation of fractions?
GCF?
What's the GCF here?
4.
4 is not right.
No?
2.
Almost. Your LCD is not just 4, because what about the x?
8.
No, it's 4x. Your common denominator has to include factors of all denominators, not just the ones that have numbers. Okay? So I'm going to take this 4x, I'm going to multiply everybody times that, and if I do this correctly, I should not have any denominators left to worry about. So what happens in this first fraction?
It's 2x.
The 2 reduces with the 4 to give you 2, so that's 2x. Plus what?
That's it.
Plus x is equal to,
4x over x is 4.
that's just 4, right? So the 4 is reduced here, the x is reduced here. And then you better be able to solve this equation, because if you can't, you're in trouble.
3x equals 4.
So 3x equals 4, which means what?
X equals 4 divided by 3. 4 over 3. This is weird.
X equals 4/3. And what did x represent?
X equals together time.
It's the together time, right?
So, but that doesn't make sense. That has to be like an hour and 0.25.
Plus hour and 1/3.
Wait, hold on here.
It's an hour. An hour.
Since this is in hours, we're talking about 4/3 hours, right?
3. You take a minus away at 1.
So that's 1 and 1/3, right?
That's what I just said. That's 1.
You said a lot of things.
Well, 1.3. No, 1.25. That's how we do it if you get paid. That was just
So I was-
What's that, 0.25?
Well, you have to round it.
You you get ripped off. If you're rounding a third to 0.25, you got ripped off.
It's because of point.
Now, hold on.
Third is 0.3333333.
This is an hour, right? How do you translate a third of an hour? Right, think about this. Off to the side here, just think about this.
A third of an hour.
A third of an hour means 1/3 of 60 minutes. And that equals what I heard you say already is 20 minutes.
Oh, she's speaking out
I
of
said 120. Oh, that would amount to 130. That's no, because 1 point. That rounds more than 15 minutes, so that would be because it's 5 away from 15.
You're killing me,
10
Smalls.
away from
I
30.
I don't ever want to hear you guys say, Mr. Craig, you confuse us when you talk math. I just got. So you guessed at the beginning of this problem 1.5 hours, and the math shows us 1 hour and 20 minutes. Does that sound appropriate? So Ruth saved some time. Esther saved a lot of time.